Edward Philip George Seaga was a Jamaican politician and record producer. He was the fifth Prime Minister of Jamaica from 1980 to 1989 and the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party from 1974 to 2005. He served as leader of the opposition from 1974 to 1980 and again from 1989 until January 2005. Early life. Edward Philip George Seaga was born on May 28, 1930, in Boston, Massachusetts, United States to Philip George Seaga, who was of Lebanese-Jamaican descent, and Erna, née Maxwell, who was Jamaican of African, Scottish, and Indian descent. Erna was the daughter of Elizabeth Campbell, maiden name, daughter of John Zungaru Campbell. Philip Seaga had moved to the U.S. seeking to take advantage of the prosperity of the Roaring Twenties, but the Wall Street crash of 1929 scotched those dreams. 3 months after Edward's birth in Boston, the Seagas returned to Jamaica. He was baptized in Kingston's Anglican Parish Church on December 5, 1930. The young Seaga was educated at Woolmer's Boys, one of the Woolmer's schools in Jamaica. He went to the United States for higher education, graduating from Harvard University in 1952 with a Bachelor of Arts, Harvard A.B., degree in the social sciences. Before embarking on his political career, Seaga was a music producer and promoter. He subsequently took a research post at the University of the West Indies. Personal life. On August 22, 1965, Seaga married Marie Elizabeth Mitzi Constantine, Miss Jamaica in 1965. They had 2 sons, Christopher and Andrew, and a daughter Annabella. This marriage was dissolved in 1995. On June 14, 1996, he married Carla Frances Vendries. Their daughter Gabrielle was born September 16, 2002. With a master's in public administration, Vendries Seaga has a special interest in sociological research and the development of Jamaican handicraft. She founded the Solidarity Project to assist the poor in small entrepreneurial enterprises. She founded an organization to assist victims of violence. Seaga was deeply involved in cultural activities, particularly folk music and all aspects of things Jamaican. A keen gardener and amateur landscaper, he used his love for plants and flowers to develop the Enchanted Garden Resort, an attraction in Jamaica. As an athlete, Seaga played on several college and school teams, field hockey, cricket, football, rifle, tennis, and swimming, diving. He participated as a member of various hunting clubs and the Jamaica Ski Club. Music industry career. Seaga's research led to an interest in popular Jamaican music. In 1955, he supervised the recording of an album of ethnic Jamaican music. He continued to produce recordings by other artists and in the late 1950s set up West Indies Records Limited, releasing early recordings by artists such as Higgs and Wilson and Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. Beginning in 1961, Seaga lived in West Kingston. He became deeply involved in its music scene and recorded some of its artists. West Indies Records Limited became the most successful record company in the West Indies. After being elected in 1962 as a Member of Parliament, representing the Jamaica Labour Party, he sold the company to Byron Lee. It was renamed Dynamic Sounds. Over 16 years, Seaga worked on compiling a collection of Jamaican music covering the period from the mid-1950s to the early 1970s. This anthology, Reggae Golden Jubilee Origins of Jamaican Music, was released on November 6, 2012 in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Jamaican independence. Early political career. Seaga, a prominent Jamaican politician, began his political career in 1959 when he was nominated to serve in the Legislative Council. He was a founding father in the framing of the Jamaican Constitution in 1961, initiating a rewrite of the Human Rights section and creating the post of Public Defender. Seaga was elected Member of Parliament for West Kingston in 1962, holding the seat for 43 consecutive years until his retirement. He was appointed Minister of Development and Welfare and later Minister of Finance and Planning. Seaga championed the return of Marcus Garvey to Jamaica in 1964, but was banned from the cabinet of Prime Minister Hugh Shearer for allegedly stirring up racial hatred. In the 1972 Jamaican general election, the PNP won 37 seats to the JLP's 16, and Seaga was swept out of power. He became leader of the JLP in 1974 and later became the leader of the parliamentary opposition in various periods. The 1980 Jamaican general election featured considerable violence, but the JLP won in a landslide. Prime Minister Edward P.G. Seaga became Jamaica's Prime Minister in 1980, winning a landslide victory over the incumbent PNP. He was widely regarded as the most influential Jamaican Prime Minister, but was controversial due to his claims of saving Jamaica from communism and mash-upping the country. Seaga's foreign policy aimed to steer Jamaica away from communism, reversing the friendship extended by former Prime Minister Michael Manley to Cuba and Grenada. He adopted alliances with world leaders like Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, cut ties with Cuba, and indirectly acknowledged the Caribbean's support for the U.S. invasion of Grenada in 1983. Seaga is credited with preventing Jamaica's economic eradication and saving the country from sanctions like Cuba or foreign invasions to eliminate communism. However, in the 1980s, the Seaga administration faced accusations of narco-banking, cocaine trafficking, and a Spring Plains project. Leader of the opposition Seaga served as leader of opposition from 1974 to 1980, leading the JLP to defeat in subsequent elections against P.J. Patterson's PNP. The PNP won 52 seats to the JLP's 8 in the 1993 and 1997 elections, and retained power in the 2002 election. Patterson stepped down in 2006 and was replaced by Portia Simpson Miller. Bruce Golding left the JLP in 1995 to form the National Democratic Movement, NDM. Golding rejoined the JLP in 2002 and was elected leader in 2005. Honors and Awards. In 1980, Fortune magazine named him Man of the Year in the Caribbean. He was appointed by Queen Elizabeth II as a member of Her Majesty's Privy Council and later received the Order of the Nation from the Government of Jamaica. In 2005, he was awarded the Distinguished Fellow for Life by the University of the West Indies and was appointed as Chancellor of the University of Technology. He has received numerous international awards, including the Gold Key Award from the Avenue of the Americas Association and the Dr. Martin Luther King Humanitarian Award. In West Kingston, he became the president of the Tivoli Gardens football, basketball, and netball clubs. He then became chairman of the Premier League Football Association and the Professional Football Association of Jamaica, with responsibility for the 12 Premier League teams and the staging of the Premier League. Later years and death. Edward Seaga retired as leader of the Jamaica Labour Party in 2005 and served as a member of Parliament for 43 years. He held the longest continuous service of any elected representative in the Caribbean region. Seaga was appointed to academia and engaged in research, writing, teaching, and leadership. He died in Miami, Florida, in 2019, where he had been receiving cancer treatment.